Hey guys, welcome back to Michio Makes. My name is Michio. I like to make stuff. Today I've got part number 103 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. This is the 1/8 scale massive model that we're building together. Without further ado, let's jump right into this one. Alright, starting off, we've got our cover here. Got another box. Oh, look at that. The other side, the driver's side in Japan. Fender, front fender. This would be the passenger side in America. And we've got our magazine. All right, let's check it out. Okay, let's check it out. All right, as usual, I took a quick peek at the issue, and this is another issue of the iconic catchphrases of car manufacturers, and this was surrounding Mazda, Subaru, and Isuzu. You know, these are fun to read. Honestly, though, it's kind of interesting to see a lot of these older models that they really featured, especially the older '70s cars. But honestly, I'm more of a Toyota fanboy, so don't know too much about these vehicles. So if you're a Mazda, Subaru, or Isuzu guy, you know, definitely check this out. RX-7's obviously pretty iconic. They called it the Savannah. I guess the Savannah version. It's a Gen 1 RX-7 too as well. If you guys don't know what the RX-7 is, you should definitely look into them and the engines that they held under their hoods, called the rotary engines. Very, very unique. Not your standard type. The Cosmos too as well. So I'll let you guys Google translate these if you want to read about it. The SVX, Subaru SVX, a pretty iconic car. They actually had these in America too as well. You could still find them around. I believe they're all obviously like Subaru, so they're all-wheel drive. That's pretty cool. All right, moving on. All right, little article on the NOAA. And NOAA, I believe, I don't think this is available in the U.S., but I do know like vans, or types of vans are more popular in Japan, especially people movers, you know. So take a look at that article on the NOAA if you want to read it. Look at how many people that can fit. What, 8, 7 easily? And these cars need to be small in Japan too as well. Pretty new. Look at that interior, probably. Oh yeah, 2001, 2007. It's a very 2000. You can tell just by the steering wheel. That's around that age. 2001 to 2007. Nice. And we get right into the part here. Same thing we did last time, literally just the opposite side. Nice, nice. One thing you'll end feature, take a look at that, the garage. You can secure 86 in there too. Oh, we have a little article on the Tivis too as well. Let me actually, I didn't translate this. Let me read this real quick. All right, I checked it out, and it's actually really cool to read about the Tivis and how kind of advanced it was. I mean, you know, you have VTEC in the Hondas, and kind of Tivis rivaled it a bit in Toyota's land, Toyota vehicles. So you can tell even by these diagrams of, you know, here's the Tivis with it off, and you can see air coming in from one inlet. Whereas it's on here, you have both kind of areas open, allowing more air to get into the engine too as well, and it's basically allowing better horsepower at higher RPM. So that's why, you know, you watch Initial D and you see going super high RPMs is because they're wide open on the Tivis too as well, and the throttle, and then actually the Tivis is enacted, and they talk about the power band in the 86 being at like 3,000, 4,000 RPMs, so that when you really see it kind of at its core, and that's when the Tivis opens too as well. It evolved to the ACIS, Acoustic Control Induction System, they called up here, and I guess it was in the Carina too as well. So, obviously optimization, especially back in the day, you have the ECU that really did a lot of the work, but these kind of mechanical problem solving with these to get higher RPMs is pretty cool still too back in the day. So yeah, there that is. And if you guys want to know where the Tivis is on the engine, it is right here. This little bar is like the intake manifold, and all that control to go right there. All right, let's get started with the part. All right, starting off here, we've got our fender, and this one looks pretty clean. Maybe a little bit of orange peel in the paint. I can feel a little bit of dust too as well. But the one good thing that I noticed is that this one doesn't have damage on the edge, which is really nice. I don't have to repaint that. That's good. There is a little bit of flaws in the paint, which is, it is what it is. Let's take a look at that if you can see that. See that little bump right there? That's a piece of dust probably got covered in paint. Is what it is. I could sand that and make it all nice, but that's fine. As long as it's not chipped or showing a different color, it's all good. We've got this metal bracket here, but that's just on the right side there. Got our piece of our side there too as well as this trim. And that, again, not super happy with that little quality. I'll trim that up. Got our lens here. Got the reflector for the lens. Whoops. And we've got our AP and CM screws again. And that's the part. All right, let's get started. We basically doing the exact same thing we did last week, just on the other direction. So let's get started. All right, so actually on that trim piece, I'm just going to clean it up just a little bit. Nothing crazy, just to make it nice and even, because it is going to be below. So what we're going to need to do for this one is just press that on there. The fender, that seems to fit way better than the one from last week. Paint. And then we take some AP screws here. And attach it. All right. And then we grab our amber turn signal there. We kind of place it in there. It looks like you just got to stick it out just a little bit. There it is. It falls flush, just like that. And then we take our reflector, place it right on top, and let it fall off. And kick it around. Alright, CM screw installed there. Nice and tight. Looks real good. That side. Fender looks awesome. And we take the little bracket here, mounting bracket. Same thing, a little bit idiot proof as we did last week. It's recessed there, and these are protruding out. So you just place that on top. A couple more CM screws, and attaches it. Alright, that bracket's a little loose. I'm going to crank just a little bit more. There you are, and much better. Alright. That bracket's set. Now, we actually have to get our model again. So give me 1 second while I grab that. Alright, got the model back here. We've got our fender. And we're just going to be placing it just like so. On here you can kind of see the profile, how it's going to look, but we can't really attach it like this, unfortunately. So I have to flip it. And kind of half hold it because it will just fall off like that. I've got to get a screw loaded up. Whoa, I just realized something. Maybe you can't really see it. I'll zoom in. Check that out. That's totally covered. That is a hole we're supposed to be utilizing, and it's completely covered in paint. So I don't know what the heck we're gonna do with that. Yeah, that's like completely closed off. See that? Look at this one comparison. I could probably get the screw through if I clean it out just a little bit. Looks better, but still probably pretty horrible to get the piece in. We'll give it a shot and see, because it's a pretty big hole. But yeah, that's something I noticed. I was like, oh, how am I going to get this thing in here? Alright, let's get this one mounted first. Alright, last screw in. Flip it over and take a look at this. Oh my gosh. We have our front profile. Kind of. We have no headlights yet, and we have no front bumper yet, but take a look at that. Front profile of the AE86. Can I zoom out somewhere? That's a little bit. See the corner lights? You can see how the thing is huge. Like, this thing is huge. Okay, so again, here's the reference. There's Hot Wheels. That's a Hot Wheels. Like a standard old Hot Wheels 86. That's quite the difference in size comparison. Like, this is a model. This is a chunker of a mile. I love it. I love it, and I'm really glad you guys have been joining me on this journey. So yeah, this is part number 103 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. Just getting that driver's side front fender on, the turn signal. We're going to be probably getting some really long parts because we'll run all the wiring too. But yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Like the video, really helps the channel grow too as well. Let's take a look and see what's in part number 104. Check that out. Looks like we have some fender kind of coverings that would go into here, the wheel wells, the front wheel wells. I think those are the fronts, it looks like. So yeah, that's it's got the two pieces and then literally two screws. But I would not be surprised if this is a longer part than just those pieces themselves. I would not be surprised if we're like putting the body on too as well after we get that on. So stay tuned for that. Part number 104. We'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.